Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hi, that's Hayley the Thesemi there. Back on Mike's Daily Podcast. Welcome, Hayley.
Welcome.
To Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Cafe, the last place on earth. It's Monday. Today, we'll have Matt and Rootabega stop by. Valentino, Bison, Bentley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We'll discuss some of the important things that are going on in the world today. And I'm going to sing a song about such.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Listen, Hayley, I'm really getting tired of Donald F. Trump. He is really getting me mad as he talks on the stump. He's always saying things that incite the people to want to rage and fight against each other. I don't like how he's being so, what do you call that, inflammatory?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Inflammatory, kind of like when you get that scratch and then it gets inflamed and then you die.
Mike's
That's my song.
Daily
I hope you like
Podcast.
it.
Yeah!
We just had a Natalie Torn discussion. Natalie Torn? Natalie Imbruglia.
Torn.
I'm all out of faith.
This is how I feel.
I'm cold and I'm ashamed.
Lying naked on the floor.
The stupid never flake
into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn.
You're all out of
late.
I'm already
torn.
And then we had other 90s songs we were discussing. Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Toad Sprocket.
So, Hayley showed me Natalie Imbruglia's later album was co-written. Some of the songs were co-written by Patrick Leonard, who produced Madonna's albums in the late 80s, like True Blue and Who's That Girl? And then you mentioned
most of them were co-written by Gary Clark.
From Danny Wilson. I loved that band. If I say save me, be the light of my eyes. It was a song called Mary's Prayer. I was MySpace friends with Danny Wilson.
Nice.
That's how far back I go as a fan.
Do you have bling on your MySpace page?
I did. Oh, look, I just walked in. Do you miss the bling? You can't put bling on Facebook pages.
I don't miss the bling. I miss the bling a little bit.
So, okay, you did a little MySpacing, right?
I did equivalents.
Okay.
Like, before I really got... MySpace was phasing out when I got into social media. I was pretty late to the game. But I was on a site or two that were like my friends had a social media site where you could make your own social media site and invite people to it. It was more of a blog type website.
What was it called?
I don't remember. But we had it all of us did creative writing, so we'd post story ideas and things of that nature onto it. And that had sort of a MySpace thing, you could customize your page a lot and stuff, and I did some of that.
What? That wasn't Posturous, was it?
No. I don't think it exists
Look, I was just
anymore.
Posturous is gone. Vox? Was it Vox?
No, it was none of these things.
Vox was a blogging website, and then they went out of business, and now Vox, the new Vox, is actually a well-known news website.
Interesting.
That goes undercover and exposes the seedy underbelly.
For your news.
MySpace. News scares me. At 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
4:20 is when we get the...
I think it's 4:19 technically, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just about there.
I'm getting a little PO'd at Cumulus with what they did to K-Fog, and now at 4:20 they're going to announce, that's this Wednesday, they're going to announce the new format.
So I'm guessing reggae.
Yeah. That'd be nice. I could listen to reggae all day.
And now, interesting enough, Clear Channel has changed 98.1.
What was that?
98.1 was a...
Is that Kiss FM?
No, 98.1 was
Religious?
What the hell was it? It was the old school hip hop, not
right.
The R&B.
That was Kiss FM, wasn't it?
It wasn't Kiss.
No. Okay, I'm getting confused.
Like that. Anyway, it might have been Kiss. I don't remember, but they changed it to like the Breeze. I think it's called.
Okay,
now.
this is Kiss FM.
This is Kiss FM. Yeah, they changed it to the Breeze, and now it's another classic rock station. Or a soft.
It's supposed to be soft AC.
Soft AC, but it's way older than soft AC.
And so we're going back to Brad and if I could spend time in a bottle and all that.
Yeah, way back. Almost an oldies station.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. The Bonnie Tyler, not the Bonnie.
Right?
Bonnie. There was a different Bonnie that came along to cover it, and that's when they did the Total Dance version. I need you now tonight, and I need you. Do you know the guy that wrote Meatloaf's songs? Like I'm out of hell. He wrote that song.
Nice. I think I heard that. Probably from you.
I probably told you that. So yeah, when that happened, the other AC station that I work for freaked out when that happened. They're like, oh no, another AC. We got so much competition. What are we going to do? And I'm like,
it's not a matter of, oh no, there's so much competition. We need to ramp up our game. It's like, it's oversaturated. No one's going to win. And everyone's bored. They're like, ugh. I don't want to have to choose between another station. I just want to ignore it. I just want to listen to K-Bay.
Yeah. They sent out a memo. I'm not gonna read the contents of the memo, but I will say one of the interesting things that that radio's discovering is they've got so much competition from everywhere. Mm-hmm. There's podcasts. Mm-hmm. People are discovering other ways to listen to radio. Now, podcasts, people...
iTunes.
Hayley, I spent about 10 minutes trying to explain to a guy in his 80s yesterday. A really nice guy that lives down the block. He just killed 6 huge pine trees that were on his property. Mm-hmm. He's like... It cost me $20,000 to take those down, but everybody was scared the trees were going to fall on their houses, so I had to take them down. Anyway, he's like complaining about, radio today is all, I can't stand the music today. And I'm like, you can listen to like old-time swing stuff. In fact, we know someone at this station that's going to kick off a old-timey swing internet radio station. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what? Internet radio? What? And I'm like, you just put it to your smartphone. He's like, oh, I'm not smart enough to have a smartphone.
I don't want a phone that's smarter than me.
I don't ever want to be like that, Hayley. I know sometimes, though you are a millennial and though I'm a late Gen Xer, wait, that made me sound like I just died. But I'm, an older Gen Xer, closer to baby boomer. I don't want to be that so out of touch with stuff. That's what I'm saying.
I get that.
All he needs is an internet, and he could listen to the frickin'... He just needs to grab that internet and use it for his use, is what I'm saying. All he needs is
a good receiver, and he'll get jazz from 91.1.
Oh, that's true. And
then depending on where he is, in Castro Valley, probably not. But if you have a good enough reception... You can get 98.1, which is a big band station out of Menlo Park, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the 98.1 that just switched formats.
Sorry, 89.1.
89.1, okay. Mm-hmm. You gotta go into the 80s for the good stations. Mm-hmm. In the 90s, when you get into the 90s, then it's all
Alanis Morissette.
Less talk, more music! Here we go talking about radio again.
We're more talk, zero music. Thanks, YouTube.
You took all the music out of our show. Hey, last show, I spoke to a girl at a dog park, and we discussed things like Jerry Seinfeld, and about how he's awesome and great, and how millennials don't like him.
It's true.
Because millennials are ageist.
It's true. And I'm okay with that.
But my friend, she's very young herself, would strongly disagree with you and say that Jerry Seinfeld. However, she did agree that Seinfeld does rehearse every freaking joke he tells like 8,000 times. There's no improv with Seinfeld, which I kind of like the improv element. That's why I love Greg Proops. I love Paul F. Tompkins. I love that.
I love the improv element. It's not ageism. Like, it's not ageism because I've seen a lot of millennials who enjoy, like, the classic George Carlin, Louis C.K., like, older generations of comedians.
Louis C.K. is so old.
He's not that old.
He's old. The liver spots are exploding on his hands.
He's not that old. But he's a lot
like
older.
My age.
He's a lot older than millennials.
Damn millennials.
Jerry Seinfeld is disliked by millennials because Seinfeld was replayed and replayed and replayed as we were growing up, and we've seen every single predictable joke on that show, which has now spread to all the other sitcoms because that kind of set the tone for the sitcom about nothing, the whatever sitcom. So we've seen it all before, and we will continue to see it and be bored by it. And Jerry Seinfeld, in his stand-up, has not changed with the times in the slightest. So you have millennials who are growing up expressing their own opinions, starting to critically analyze humor as a whole, in an effort to not be a racist generation, to not be a discriminatory generation. And then you have Jerry Seinfeld getting up on the stage doing a stand-up that is racist and discriminatory.
But have you actually seen his stand-up lately?
Yes, I have.
Lately?
Not lately. I saw his, what was that, the One Last Tour thing?
Oh.
Yeah.
But what was it that you found offensive?
Well,
I mean, he seems like... His humor seems in the bastion of comedians like it's supposed to be more mellow and, he doesn't cuss a lot.
Yeah, it's not. He's been known for making, like, Jewish jokes, of course, things of that nature.
Because he's Jewish.
But, yes, and I agree because he's Jewish, he made a bunch of Jewish jokes, and that's fine. But it was this... one of his last tours, the one here where he said, well, I'm not going to colleges anymore, he was making quite discriminatory jokes, and that's where people were saying, we do not like when he does that.
I don't know what he was I'd have to see what
I'm
he was
not
talking
sure
about.
either. You could probably look it up, but that was the news that was coming out of it for sure.
I don't know.
So it wasn't an ageism issue.
Well, maybe college students don't want to laugh at anything. They just want to be mad at things because the world is... They're coming out of college and they want to change the world. And they're like, I want to change this planet.
And then the planet's like, F*** you. You can't change me for shit.
The first cuss of the show, everybody, as opposed to the last show we were on together.
That was a strange show.
That was a cuss fest. We called it curse. Well, I would not pay money to go see Seinfeld just because I'm done. I'm just done with that. I'm burnt out on the whole, like you said, of seeing all the Seinfelds. You were forced to, as a child growing up in a household that was like, oh, this is so funny, Seinfeld. I was forced to because my ex-wife was like, oh, I love Seinfeld. So
we watched a lot more Friends than Seinfeld.
That could be funny.
Yeah.
There were some funny moments, as we've discussed. I also wanted to discuss, I saw The Great Gatsby, and I'm not going to give another free plug to this damn play, but it was fantastic. My friend Eric did a great job. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it very much. We saw it on the Upper East Side. I'm making this sound like a New York podcast. No, that's racist, Mike. You can't make fun of New Yorkers if you are yourself not a New Yorker and have no concept of what New York is. I know it's some kind of city somewhere on the East Coast.
New York.
Is that right? New York?
New Orleans, New York.
Hayley teaches me words. And
New Orleans, New York.
Australia's capital is Perth.
E-
No, what's the one?
Canberra.
Canberra.
Even old New York was once
New
the
Amsterdam. Why they changed it? No one knows. They Might Be Giants.
People just liked it better, I suppose. It was not originally a They Might Be Giants song.
No.
That song's been around for
It's old.
ages. At least 80 years at this point.
If I could reach my computer, I would look up who wrote it. Hey, Hayley. Did you ever read The Great Gatsby? You saw the book? The movie? You saw the book?
I've seen the book.
You've seen the movie?
No.
Okay. I had no idea what the hell what it was about. I never read the book.
Okay.
It's bizarre.
I've heard.
It's got a weird ending. It's kind of a morbid Quentin Tarantino ending.
I've heard.
Tragic.
It's a tragedy.
The actors were phenomenal. The guy that played Great Gatsby, though, reminded me of a roommate. I lived in a duplex in Ventura from the mid-'90s to the mid-'00s.
Yeah.
And probably low around 2000 is when this guy moved in next door to me. So he would stomp around. He was German. His name was Lorenz. And he had a beautiful wife named Maren. And then one day... we both had to walk up 88 steps to get to this place.
Nice.
No access other than going up all your groceries, your furniture, everything. So I'd run into them all the time, and they'd say, Michael, Martin is pregnant, and we are having babies. I'm like, oh, okay. So they had a little baby named Leon.
That's a nice name.
And Leon would stomp around all the time and keep me up. And then when I got married, my ex-wife got so mad one day, she opened up the door and went next door, which was just like on the other side of the wall, and said, pounded on the door, and Maren answered, and she's like, you have got to keep that kid from stomping around. And put some socks on him. Damn it. And then I'm like, oh my God, because my ex-wife could get pretty PO'd.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and my ex-wife was gone. She had left for work or whatever. And it's Maren, and she's beautiful, and she's in negligee. No, wait, that didn't happen. That was a revisionist thing I just did. She knocked on the door, and she's got a bottle of wine, and she goes, Mike, I'm so sorry. Tell Robin we're so sorry. It was so loud. And we're going to put socks on Leon. And we're actually moving. So they moved. But anyway, all that to say that Lorenz, the husband, looked just like the guy who played Great Gatsby in this play. So the whole time I'm watching the play, I'm like, that's Lorenz. But so I guess Gatsby. And then I went up and talked to the actor afterwards, because they had like a little post party because it was opening night, and they had cheese and champagne and little salami wrap things with an olive and a cute toothpick.
Hors d'oeuvres. How do you pronounce that?
Hors d'oeuvres. I just say hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
My mom says hors d'oeuvres or something. I guess that's the French. And they put up like a little house like that's supposed to look like Gatsby's house. It was a cool little party. It was all in the Gatsby theme. Anyway, I went up to the guy that played Great Gatsby, and I go, since I've never seen the movie or read the book, you will always be Great Gatsby in my mind when I think of Great Gatsby. And he's like, oh, thanks. Now, who are you? You're freaking me out, dude, he said to me. No, he didn't say that.
Oh, I'm getting a call.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me as I take this call.
Okay, he's going to take the call, which is odd we get calls this early in the morning.
Hello.
Let's see. We'll see what it is. Oh, my gosh. We just had a bunch of calls and everything we had to take care of. We're back. So, please, I've been talking all this time. You go for it, Hayley.
So you're talking about your noisy neighbor.
Yeah.
I have a kind of similar noisy neighbor story. In a way. We lived... S noises.
Are you lisping? Are you lisping a little to the left?
To the left.
List.
To the left.
Wait, it's listing.
Everybody lisps over to the left.
That was a song by Beyonce. That she's... I'm sorry, go ahead. Noisy neighbor.
No, I lost it. It's gone. No.
This is live podcasting, everyone.
So we lived in a house on the street because that's generally where houses are. I don't want to make any generalizations per se, but if you have a house, you're going to, for the most part, assume that there's a street very close by. And unless the tornado happens and it gets whisked away.
And it's whisked away.
Yeah.
To Oz.
Oz.
That's the happy way of putting it.
There's no roads in Oz.
This there is. There's the Olympic Road. Follow it. Follow the Olympic Road. Follow the Olympic Road. Follow the Olympic Road.
And during our time at that house, we had some neighbors move in. And these neighbors lived in a big house, and they had a lot of people in the big house. And they were a large Hispanic family, and they were very friendly people. But in the garage, they would practice their band for their church. And because they were a Hispanic family, they were Catholic, and they went to a Hispanic Catholic church, and their band was fairly Mexican influenced, which meant
accordions,
tuba. So, like, a huge amount of my life at that house was just sitting and hearing
those two notes.
Yeah. I expected it to be the VeggieTales theme, but it never went. It just went over and over again. So that was a bit annoying. But it was not the noisiest thing they ever did. Because occasionally they would have parties. And the parties would happen in their backyard, and it would be pretty noisy. And then it would go very late, which would annoy us quite a bit. And then I remember this one time, they were out there partying past midnight, past 1, possibly past 2. And my dad went out into the backyard, and he got up on a stool, and he looked over the fence, and he went, "Hey! Quiet down!" And I mean, instantly the people in the house were like, and they were like, shh, and they turned down the music, and they started to sort of break up the party because they're like, oh no, we're disturbing people.
Oh, we've upset the wonderful Thesemis.
And like 2 days later, 1 or 2 days later, they show up at our doorstep, and it's the same thing. Bottle of wine and a little basket of treats and such. And they say, "Thank you for not calling the cops." So they were a nice family. They just were very noisy at times. And
wow.
When we moved, we were happy to not have to listen to tuba 24/7.
That is a fantastic story. I guess there's a certain point that your father reached, and I guess I'm trying to think now if I ever reached it, but my ex-wife reached it, and she stormed over there. I don't think I ever did. I did one time when my first roommate moved in. I used to call him Clunk, and because he made a lot of noise. And the very first night he was living there, he starts making all this noise, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And
was he building a time machine?
He's like, "Oh, I like to work out this time of night," and he was like jumping up and down doing jumping jacks. I'm like, well, what did I get myself into?
Dear goodness.
I wish he was building a time machine. That's funny you mention bands and such, because yesterday I was walking Basil in garages, I should say. And
garage bands?
Garage bands. And there was a guy named Adam. I forget his son's name. They have a dog named Sugar. I'm giving out all these specifics for no particular reason, but I'm walking past. Adam's bald like myself. He's younger. He put a little friendly library in his front yard. You know those little houses that have the glass window and you open it up and you put books in there?
Yeah.
And it's open to anyone to have?
Yeah.
Yeah, he put one of those on his front yard. And
my aunt has been talking about possibly wanting to put one behind our house because we have a little park there. because she's from Seattle. Well, she's not from Seattle, but she spent a lot of time in Seattle. And she said that they're all over the place up there.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Mm-hmm. There was an article about it in the What's Happening Tri-Valley, whatever newspaper we have here in Fremont.
Oh, yeah.
And I read that story on the air for those of you that... on the air. This is podcasting.
Broadcasting on the airwaves.
On the podcast, I should say. What I meant. Anyway, so he's built this little library thing. His son is wailing on the drums. His son's probably 12, 13, somewhere around there. And I'm like, he's good. And I'm like, I feel like I want to start a band with this kid because he's like rocking. And then I could learn the guitar, and then his dad could play the flute. We'd be Jethro Tull.
I'll sing.
You could sing? Mm-hmm. We've got a band here. But then I thought, well, because the whole frickin' neighborhood could hear the drumming.
Yeah.
And even when they have the door shut, you can still hear the drumming. And I was thinking maybe in my basement, but you can hear the drumming. Drums are loud.
Drums are loud, yeah.
How do you start a band is my question.
Well, you look at your friends and you go, you guys want to start a band? And then you start a band.
But what do you do about your neighbors that get all mad that you're so loud?
Man, you're a punk band. Those neighbors, who even cares? As long as you don't wake mom up, you're good.
Okay. That's the whole... And your dad. Don't wake up your dad because he'll come over and then we have to get him some wine in a basket of... what do you call that? What's the sausage maker? Honey? No.
Oh, God. I know exactly what you mean! Or the Pear Company.
The Pear... Oh, yeah! I've had that
Henry
one.
and Davison.
Somebody sent me pears once. That was nice.
Yeah.
They're good. Mm-hmm. They're like little, sweet little kisses from heaven.
Little bites of heaven. I don't like pears.
Anyway, you know the salami place we're talking about. Well. These were all pressing thoughts I had on my mind. That and Trump. Oh, so Trump, somebody said to him, Trump gave a speech. He said, I don't want there to be violence during the big convention, the Republican convention, where it's going to be crazy. I don't want there to be violence. But he didn't, he just kind of went like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What can I do? It's like, dude, here's what you could do. You can say, I will pull my campaign if there's violence. I don't want my supporters to be violent assholes. Why isn't he saying that?
Because he's not going to pull his campaign.
Because he's an egomaniac.
Because he thrives off of violence.
And this is the same thing he did with Obama. Somebody gets up at one of his speeches and says, Obama is a Muslim. And he didn't go, no, he's not, like McCain did. He's like, we're still looking into that. He loves to incite. We
have our top scientists looking into that.
All I'm saying is, if you're a Trump supporter, you are... you're furthering his insightful message of causing violence and causing the death of this country.
Yeah. There's a very interesting video that I need to show you. That's all I'm going to say. I probably shouldn't have said that on the podcast, but I needed to get that out.
Haley likes to show me videos. Dear podcast listener, do you have a friend that likes to show you videos a lot? I know in the early 80s, if we would have said that would have sounded a little weird. Yeah, my friend likes to show me videos. Because it required you going to their house and then taking a bunch of tapes and putting them into a VHS machine. But nowadays, all you must do is go to a computer and click play on a little button. And there you are watching a video.
Bloop.
It's so wondrous. I'm missing something. I was going to tell you something else.
That's fine. We're at half hour, so we should probably wrap this up.
It was a good half hour. I think the listener learned a lot. Madam Rootabega walked in, Valentino, Bison, Bentley, they didn't say a damn thing.
Yeah, but...
Here, we'll just hand this microphone to Madam Rootabega real quick.
Thank you. I wanted to say that I like to dance. Oh!
Let's go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Were you going to say anything, Valentino?
Yeah, I accidentally packed your scooter, Dave. Hayley, I know you hate when I do that, Dave.
Yeah, he hates it. I'm Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Yeah, I'm Valentino, the parking attendant.
I'm going to electrify my scooter so the next time you touch it to park it, it'll zap you.
What are you talking about? Let me try and move your recently electrified scooter, Dave.
Just want to tell everyone to listen to a guy that I recently rediscovered who loves doing the theater of the mind thing, but he wrote a blog saying he hates the word theater of the mind. He's like, I want to punch in the nuts anyone who says theater of the mind. But he used to do fantastic theater of the mind stuff on the radio when he do promos and stuff. His name is John Frost. Look him up. He's hilarious. Anyway, Mr. Hayley, or
I gotta get out of here.
Not to put a gender on Hayley.
Please.
I'll just say Hayley-rific.
That's a good one.
This was a great conversation, a great way to start off the week. I look forward to future conversations with Hayley.
It's true.
And just remember that we have no name for this frickin'... What was this? What would be the name for this podcast? What the hell are we... Let's call it Neighbors.
Okay.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture for episode 1075 is of the wonderful place that I went to. I've spoken about it before, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And it's a place called Gulf Shores in Alabama. It's the one little spot of Alabama that actually touches the Gulf of Mexico. And I love this little area. I had a great time visiting there years ago with my ex-wife. And there is a little picture there of their cool little marina. I'd love to go back and actually get the names of all these marinas and stuff, but it is there in Gulf Shores in Alabama. Enjoy that picture, the little pier in the water. What, Mike, you're posting another podcast picture that has to do with water? What a shock. I know. But you can see that now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Also at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. You can help us out by clicking on the Amazon link, buying whatever it was you're going to buy on Amazon. Go through that link first, and that helps us out. Also, there's the PayPal if you'd like to donate and get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there is also links to all the places you can listen to the show, all there at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!